This is just a simple thing because really it's Occam's razor, simple to complex. You see the complexity of it in nature, right? But the simplicity is arrived at because I learned through my own experience that true love was unconditional love was the most powerful teacher in spirit, and the reason for that is simple. You experience the energy. You experience the communication in spirit with a soul, the energy that you're experiencing as a result of the communication, which means you realize you're loved because you're experiencing love vibration from the teacher. And usually, what happens out of that is it's easy to trust energy that you feel in your heart and soul loves you. You're experiencing the vibrational energy, and that energy feels good, just like petting a dog and the tail wags. They love your energy. So love is good energy to experience, so it's easy to trust. So now you know the energy. Once you know the energy, that energy is good to feel. And you never forget that energy when you first experience that energy in a mother's womb. You never forget that vibration, ever. Unless somebody removed it from your memory, reprogrammed you, right? So when it comes to programming codes, I was reminded when I was a child about codes, simulations, mathematics, and artificial intelligence, which is binary codes. So I realized, for example, a number of the drugs that were given me later in life that came out of Big Pharma, because in the early days when they had Rexall, Rex, RX, all, RX, X, sign on the dotted X. It used to be they had compound pharmacists, which meant that the doctor would actually write out the formula. And then the formula would be kept, okay, in the back storeroom. And then they would compound it, right, with stone, using stone. And most of the time, the ones that I remember came directly from nature, which is trinary, which is not binary codes. So when you realize that binary goo codes, right, through their AI binary simulated system is binary, right? Two poles, binary. So you're experiencing binary codes, which are related to the artificial intelligence, right, to run the simulated codes because you're not experiencing a triad codes. Three waves, not bi-wave. So instead of a two-pole, you have a tripole, which is a trinary, what's known as Trinity, which is a Trinity observer. So I'm a single pole, which is a polarity integrator, right? Which is a little different because it means you pull the both in to become one, okay? Which is a mated chip, which means that's eternity. So you're experiencing the one, which is known as the law of one, which means you're experiencing an eternal love vibration within your own heart. So love, the heart and soul, becomes the teacher that you can trust because you trust the energy, right? Because it's free. Which means if somebody's giving you free energy, chances are it's easy to trust that energy because it's not requiring a fee. It doesn't need any money from you. As a matter of fact, it's a gift. It's a free gift. Love is a gift. It's gifting energy to you, just like the sun when it comes up. That's free energy. Thank you for energy, baby. That's the simplicity of it. The universe loves you. The universe of creation loves you. It's giving you free energy to grow flowers, grow trees, photosynthesis, right? So I realized over the number of years, because of the places that I went, and I was experiencing the evidence of the programming, like eating potato chips, all the stuff that essentially you find in all your corporate stores, right, that they give to everybody does not come from essentially, now this is when you're going to get into codes. Original codes. like heirloom seeds. Because now you get into all the hybridization stuff, which means you've changed out the original codes of the original code. It would be much the same way as the first rose, the first pink rose, in which a programmed set of instructions in which to grow a flower. That's the original instruction set. Well, that's an original pink rose. Wow, the first one? Yeah. So, in other words, that's the first. Now you're into the first musician and the first harmonic universe template, which are based on all the codes of the original harmonic universe 1, which is known as the tribal shield. And now we're into shield volcanoes, which are drive motors that protect the harmonic universe 1 codes. Now we're into the 12 by 12, right? Now we're into all the seeded races codes. Now we're into all the language codes, right? Now you're into all the genetic mutations and transfer of codes, the mutations of codes, which distort the waves and the communication between all the codes, which represent all the operating systems that are communicating with each other in order to be in love, peace, and harmony within harmonic universe 1. Right? Because I know that it started with what love is because it doesn't work backwards in time. There is no past, there's no future, there's only right now. The center point of that sphere, the sphere of 1. Love that goes on forever, gifting love energy. And I know that's true because I experience it. I've experienced it my whole life, and I've experienced it in many, many, many other beings. By the way that they treat you with kindness, compassion, empathy, politeness, and showing how much, how do I put this? You can tell by how somebody treats themselves by how they treat others. Right? And that's when you get into, chances are, if I don't love my mirror, which represents what I am that is in that mirror, chances are I'm losing energy. So if I'm losing energy, what am I going to do? Now I'm chasing energy in order to catch up to zero because I'm losing energy as a result of what? The choices that we make that are reflected back as feedback, which is the result in the use of our energy. See, so for about 6 years now, well, a little longer than that, I realized, okay, it's time to basically pull the AV plugs, the audio video plugs out of the tar, the goo codes, burn them all off, light myself on fire. We're done with this. I had a statement. I said to myself, we're done with that. So that basically means crank up the drive motor, light yourself on fire, burn off all their stuff. I'm done with this. So that's when I got off the one AI drug that I was on, which was basically pain medicine for a compression fracture I had in my spine, and said, I'm done with that. Okay. Because you already know, actually, all the information of what you already know, what you remember, you just pull it up. It's like, it's funny how this works, but it's like you already know this stuff as a child, right? So I realized that when you know that you're like Superman and Supergirl, you realize like I already know how to balance my calculator out. And so as a polarity integrator, you already know the way that you're built. In other words, you already know what you want energy. You can burn off anything that you need to burn off whenever you choose to want to burn it off, right? But at the same time, you realize that you're doing a job, which is major transmutation. And at the same time, you're also performing another task, which is checking all the boxes and recording all the crimes to upload that. So that means you're essentially willing to be a guinea pig in order to experience the visual information data that is related to what they use against you that you now experience as data that gets recorded, which represent crimes, because you know you can burn it off anyway, right? So that means you're running on an enormous amount of fire. I call it a blast furnace, right? The largest shield volcano on the planet. Will that do? Right? So I realized as a child, it's the same relationship that I have with my mother and my father. They are who they are. I am who I am. But my parents were two of the most honorable, loving, kind, compassionate people I ever knew in my life, and they were honorable, which meant no matter whether my mother believed in something that I knew was not true, if my mother believed in it, she believed it was true, which means she wasn't going to deliberately lie to you to corrupt your mind. And this is where you get into the separation between those that are awake and those that are asleep because they're running on a program. So you realize they're running on a program because you're realizing by being the observer, observing the observed, the things that people are doing that don't serve their mirror or their future best interests as a result of what they're held captive to, that isn't serving their best interests. So now we're back to the political system, right? Of the things that they do to us as a result of who we are, that we experience the result of that. So why would you choose to experience somebody abusing you, right? So now you're back into the abuse as a child, leads to self-abuse as an adult. And you could experience it because I did over time between my childhood and my later adulthood. Over time, it was getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, right? Of realizing you're experiencing more and more and more and more people that were showing less love towards each other, which is less love they were experiencing within themselves as a result, and the use of their energy of what they were being held captive to in their mirror with an AI mirror. And so now you're getting the learning speed differential again between learning what best serves us by the relationships that we have with each other and what we're choosing to be held captive to with the use of our energy in our mirror. Right? Yeah. Love is energy we can trust. As a father and a mother joined as one, they both love you. Yeah. Have a good evening. Bye now.